Now,
on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 6:06 now. O'Connor and Company on Friday. It's Friday.
It's a Friday, Larry.
It is
Friday.
So. Man, I often make the mistake in the other direction, getting us to the weekend too soon, and now here I am taking us back 24 hours. Clearly, I'm ready for the weekend. Hope you are too. Coming up at 6:35, Derek Anderson running for the Republican nomination at Virginia 7 against Abigail Spanberger. You know, the one who's trying to pretend she didn't support Susanna Gibson, the Democrats' porn queen. 7:05, Devin Westhill, a Center for Equal Opportunity, because University of Maryland apparently has some pretty racist admissions policies that we want to expose for you. 7:45, Julie Donaldson on the Commanders game this weekend. Then 8:05, Luke Rosiak, Daily Wire. 8:35, Ken Paxton, Texas Attorney General, fresh off an acquittal on those bogus impeachment witch hunt charges. That's all coming up. And Patrice, we're joined now by Steve Knotts. He is the chairman of the Republican Party in Fairfax County. And today's the day, Steve. Tell everybody what they need to know, because it's no longer, the election's in November. No, the election is now, right now, today.
Yeah, Election Day is 45 days as usual, so get out and vote. I believe the polls open at 8 o'clock at the Fairfax County Government Center. It's the easiest place to go, so get out and vote. And if you haven't yet, get an absentee ballot if you need it, and we need to get every vote out there and make every vote count.
And for all Republicans who, and I get it, I'm sympathetic to you. You hate all this early voting. You hate the way the rules have been changed. You like that traditional go to Election Day on Election Day. It's important for everyone to realize, Steve, first of all, that number one, something could happen that day and you don't get to the voting, the election place, the polling place. And Democrats have already beaten you because they've been voting for the last month and a half, number one. So don't risk that. And number two, for all of you who are suspicious of our election systems, and you always think, look, we've got this lead, and then suddenly they start counting all these ballots at the wee hours of the night, and Democrats always seem to win. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're suspicious of that and you think something's going on, why give them the opportunity to mess with Election Day? Go in now and get that lead built up for Republicans for a change.
That's right.
That's sort of what this is about, right, Steve?
That's exactly what it's about, and there's too many examples of people who get hung up on Election Day and cannot make it to the poll. We've got the opportunity now to use the rules that they put in place, so let's use them. Let's get out there.
Yes.
Let's vote early. Let's do absentee, get on the permanent absentee list. That way we can get that report and follow up and make sure that you voted the ballot that they sent you. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that the Democrats have used these rules to their advantage for years. We need to be doing the same thing, and I encourage everybody out there to play by the rules, but get out and vote one way or another.
Okay. Well, Steve, speaking about Democrats and the rules, and whether they flout the rules or bend the rules to the point where it's about to snap, we've got this case here. Democrat Stella Pekarsky, who's currently serving on the Fairfax County School Board. She wants a higher office now, but she's apparently using her connections and her official government title and connection position to be able to, frankly, hit back against a political foe. Her running against her, Julie Perry, who was a history teacher, and her tweets were used against her. Tell us, what do you make of this whole situation?
Well, it comes from a couple of places. I mean, over the last several years, we have watched the federal government be politicized and to go after political opponents. I mean, we look at what's happening to President Trump, that they just keep going and going and going and going, and now it's rolled down all the way to the school boards that they are going to try to do the same things. They're going to get out there and use their official positions to go after people. They're going to have their donors file complaints, they're going to have their friends file complaints, and then they're going to use their official position to come in and go after their political opponents. And it's just ridiculous what's going on, and it goes on much beyond that, what's happening in Fairfax County right now. But one of the biggest things it tells me is we are making a difference. They are worried. They are coming after us. They are having the county contractors remove political signs from people's yards. All kinds of things are going on, and at first glance, it really upsets me. But then I look at what it really means, and it means they are starting to run scared. They would ignore us if it weren't for the fact that we have the message, we have the right policies, we have the right people, and they are nervous. But if we don't get out and vote and we don't get out and support these candidates, they're going to win, and they're going to continue to do what they're doing. And if they can do this to their political opponents, they can do that to us. And we need to make sure that we put the right people in place to make sure that this does not continue to happen.
Steve Knotts is the chairman of the Republican Party for Fairfax County, and today is the first day for in-person early voting in Virginia. It's a really important off-year election, and we had the governor on yesterday, Glenn Youngkin, to discuss how important it is, Mr. Knotts. Writ large, again, maybe things go the Republicans' way this time around in Fairfax County. I know you've got a great slate of candidates, but when you even zoom out to Virginia as the entire state, how important do you think it is that Republicans really show up right now, not wait till next year, show up right now and send a message nationally that Virginia is not this bluish-purple state that it appears to be?
It is really important because we have this election this year, and most states don't have an off-year election. And we can show that the policies that Glenn Youngkin has put in place, the things that we're doing in Virginia, the things that are being successful here and reaching across party lines and bringing back the independents to the Republican side of the aisle, are the things that need to be happening nationally. We'll build momentum right here in Virginia, but if we have what we do in a lot of years where we stay home and we don't vote and we have a 20 or 30% turnout, it's not going to happen, and we're not going to turn the country, and we're not going to be that spark that fires the flame, that brings back common sense to politics in the United States. So we need to be out there, and I hope a ton of you go out today and vote and get those numbers way up, and let's just build the lead and keep it all the way through rather than looking at it on election night and being disappointed.
Steve, really quickly, what's the one or two top issues that you think really motivates voters and could win independence back to the Conservative Party?
The biggest thing that I'm hearing from people right now are the issues having to do with cost of living, that people are having difficulties now. It's taken a little while to get there, but with the higher interest rates, with the inflation still not coming down to where it needs to be, with people really having to make choices between one thing or another, with their families, with their children, that's really big right now. And public safety is still ridiculous what's going on all over the place, where neighborhoods that were deemed safe years ago are now seeing crime in numbers that they've not seen before, and then watching these Commonwealth attorneys or district attorneys, depending on where you are, just letting people go right back out and not prosecuted crime. So we've got to keep on with those issues, and then we're dealing with the issue today. It's the school boards. On and on and on and on. We're watching these school boards just ignore the children, ignore what their jobs are, ignore education, and just push political agendas. And personally, I think the people are tired of it. They're really tired of having to deal with politics all the time, when what they really want to do is educate their children and give them a chance to compete in a global economy that is weakening the U.S., that if we don't get the education into our young people now, we're not going to be able to compete 20 years from now. That's what we need to be focused on, and those are the issues that I think are going to win people back. But we have to communicate that message, and they want us to get spun up on things that have nothing to do with the real issues that people face every day, and that's what we have to avoid. We don't need to play that game. We need to stay on message. We need to get people out to vote, and we need to show that our policies will be better for the country overall, the state overall, and we need to win in November.
All right, get out there and vote today. Thank you, Steve Knotts, chairman of the Republican Party.
I
intend to. I'm headed that way at 8 o'clock. So
there you go. You'll see Steve on the line.
There you go.
There you go. All right, thanks, Steve.